Let it adjust. There we go. Hey, what's poppin', y'all? Back with another video. My bad, I'm digging in my nose. It was itching. Now today, we gonna do my man Jesse Lee Peterson destroys pro-immigrant supporter. Let's go. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. Y'all know what to do. Let's get it. Let's go.
Let's say the squatter stayed in your house. You're over in China for 6 years. You come back to America, and there's some squatters are living in your home, and they're like all comfortable. They're parking in the garage. They're working. They have little children. Would you throw the squatters out?
I think that that's an oversimplification of our border policy.
How's it different?
Because they're at my private property. That's different than having them come to the country and work in our economy. It's a different relationship between a government and the people in it than having them in your private property.
But our country is our private property. It belongs to America.
Aha!
Are you a liberal?
I think I'm
Aha! Well, I'll start doing that.
relatively liberal. I grew up really conservative, and I kind of, as I experienced the world, I became more liberal.
You did?
Yeah.
Conservative meaning what?
I grew up Republican, and then I became a Democrat when I was older.
What made you switch?
I felt like there was a lot of hatred, and growing up, I was a very moderate Republican, and I think I'm still relatively moderate today, but a little bit, if there's a line between Republican and Democrat, I was here, and now I'm, a little bit over the line. But what made me switch is there was just a lot of, hateful rhetoric that didn't feel very inclusive. And for me, my first rule about, treat others the way you want to be treated,
right.
There was a lot of, anger, and I didn't really like that anger, and so for me, that kind of put me over the edge.
So, at the time you were conservative, are you saying that the conservatives were angry?
University.
Makes impossible. All these commercials, damn it.
When I was growing up, I would say the liberals were angry, and then I'd say, with the rise of Trump, I think that there was a shift where then the Republicans really became angry, and so a lot of that kind of vitriol and hatred towards others made me feel less comfortable with the direction the party was going in.
Did both sides, it's both sides say they angry, right? What if everybody just fucking angry? What if all y'all just too fucking angry? Y'all just need to go fucking eat a Snickers. You know what I mean? Did you know, I'm gonna tell y'all some random shit, and then we gonna get back to the video. Did you know that in court, right, when a judge eats a meal, the likelihood of getting a lighter sentence is better? It's more likely you get a lighter sentence than if a judge doesn't eat. Just want y'all to know that random fact. So when you're so if you're having a bad day, your girl's having a bad time, just get her some food. Get a Snickers. Random shit. Anyways, yeah, but I think everybody's just fucking angry. Both sides are just fucking angry, and nobody's willing to listen to anybody. We don't really have liberals and conservatives anymore. We have far right and we have far left. That's it. We don't have anything more. And I know people would debate that the far left even exists, but there is a far left. There is something going a little too far on the left, and that's just what it is, for real.
And so you switched party because the conservatives were angry.
Mainly because Trump had different views than I felt my views were growing up as a Republican. My views growing up as a Republican, were about family and about love and forgiveness, and I didn't really feel that Trump represented that. And so that was kind of where I...
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I am hopeful with a lot of his economic policies. I think he's doing a lot of things that kind of needed to be done, especially cost cutting.
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful with this term, his focus on economics. That to me is something that's important. Even if I'm a Democrat, I think that's important.
And when you come back home, when he's done, when you come back home?
If the party kind of it doesn't go more in his direction, I think I would consider becoming a Republican again.
But it's going all the way in his direction.
Yeah, so that's where I'm hard pass.
Do you love Trump?
No.
You don't love him?
No.
And why not?
I think that he has a lot of hateful views and a kind of bullying people and a lot of his social issue stuff I don't feel is inclusive or loving and warm, and that's where I kind of
Really? your boyfriend, is he liberal or conservative?
Liberal.
Oh, God. You don't have a chance. And so tell me one thing that's hateful about Donald Trump.
I feel like, he'll like bully. I'm trying to think of like a specific example, but.
Before she gives her example, like, I don't think he's hateful. I just think people don't like how he goes about what he says. But I don't think he's hateful. Like, I think hateful is a strong thing to say. I just think he's just really he's not well spoken. I'll just say it like that. He just says what he wants to say. And I don't think anything's wrong with that, but I think that's what people don't realize they don't like about him. He's a New Yorker. Like, that's how New Yorkers are. Like, but I think he means well. I do. I think Trump means well. I mean, I may not have voted for him, and I don't really believe in everything he's doing, but I think he means well. And I do believe in things need to be rolled back. She says she doesn't like the bullying tactics. I kind of like a president that's standing up for the country, saying he's about the country. I don't know about bullying. Maybe he is doing that a little bit, but I like somebody who's standing up for the country. We need that, But anyways.
He's bullied people with like speech impediments, or
I know that.
He's made negative comments about like people who were in the military, calling like there was a military parade where he said like some of them were weak because they're in wheelchairs because they were injured in war, like that kind of stuff.
Being in a wheelchair, being in the military, you're all weak. You can't be strong, right?
Well, you're in a wheelchair because you sacrificed your legs or your ability to defend our country. So for me, that's a very strong person. I wish I was that brave.
Really?
Yeah.
The president, do you like the fact that he shut down the borders?
I think that it's important that people come in legally to our country,
right.
Follow the law.
Right.
I don't necessarily like how he shut down the border, especially how it's treated families.
What do you mean by that?
Like children who are put into camps and separated from their parents. For me, that's like when I talk about being a Republican growing up, it was all about family values, and I think that's a very cruel way of shutting down the border.
Which is crueler, these people bringing their children over here, or Trump protecting America by shutting them off and sending them back? Which is worse?
I think both are sad.
Well, which is worse?
I don't know. I think if they're bringing their kids over here, it's probably because they're in a really tough situation where they're coming from.
Well, which is worse, to illegally bring your children into America, or for Trump to send them back?
It's a good question. I guess both to a degree. Oh, them pancakes look good. Oof. Every time I have Bob Evans food, it's not good though. So I don't know.
I think it's worse for Trump to send them back, but I think it's worse for him to separate kids from their moms and send them back without family. That to me is worse.
But if the family sends them over here without parents, should he send them back without parents?
Oh, if they're sent over without parents, then
okay.
He's not separating. For me, it's the separating of families that I find really.
Obama started doing that, right?
I don't know enough about
Remember
that.
Obama?
Yeah, I know, but I don't know his policy.
Oh,
but if he was doing that, I would say that that's also bad.
So because of time,
y'all know Mama Bear. I'm not gonna say too much. I don't know. It actually happened during the Bush administration. Anyways, but I do have personal experience with immigrant families being separated, and I think it is messed up. I think it is messed up to a degree. But hey, it is what it is. Let's go.
So you're happy with the way he shut down the border? Are you happy he's sending the aliens back?
I think that if you're entering our country, you should probably do it legally. So I think it's okay for him to send them back. I think it becomes tough when they have, they move here and their families are here and they've grown up here. And then if they've been here for 10 years, or for some of them, they don't even speak their language at home, I think we have to find a way to make that work, because that's really tough if you're...
Facts.
I don't know what I would do if I was sent to another... If I was sent, let's say I was sent back to China and I don't speak Chinese, I'd be like, I don't know what to do here.
But if you were sent back home to China, it'd be a different story, because they're sending you home. And so Trump was sending these people back. It doesn't even matter if they've been here 100 years. but they came here illegally, they still should be sent back home, right?
I think we have to look into that because, you know, if they've been here for 10 years, they're probably part of our economy. They're culturally part of our country. I think it'd be really difficult to just send those people back.
But they still broke the law. Why would it be difficult?
What?
They still broke the law to get here. They're illegal people. Why should it be difficult to send them back?
Because they've now, like, I mean, it's not just like a law of like black or white. It's also like, how do we treat people? And sending them back, like, they might not have family in their home country. They might not know anyone there. They might not speak the language anymore.
But they're still going home.
Like, you know, my book is about belonging. Like,
right.
What does make home? If you don't have any family, if you don't speak the language, like, a place isn't really home anymore.
If a squatter were to move into your house, and they were there for 6 months, you finally come home and a squatter is in your home.
Yeah.
Would you say, you know what, you've been here for 6 months, you're real comfortable, you can stay?
I think,
or would you want them thrown out?
That would be an oversimplification of the border issue, in my
Why
opinion.
is that?
Because it's 6 months and they're living in your home. That's different.
How's that different? The illegals was in our home for 6 months, our country. What's the difference?
6 months, yeah. Then they should probably be sent back.
How about 6 years? Let's say the squatter stayed in your house. You're over in China for 6 years. You come back to America, and there's some squatters are living in your home, and they're like all comfortable. They're parking in the garage. They're working. They have little children. Would you throw the squatters out?
I think that's an oversimplification of our border policy.
How's it different?
Because they're at my private property. That's different than, you know, having them come to the country and like work in our economy. Like, it's a different relationship between a government and the people in it than having them in your private property.
But our country is our private property. It belongs to America.
I think that.
Aha! Got her on that one. Yeah, you did. You got her on that one. It is our private property, but guys, just try to understand both sides of the scenario. Like, people just don't want families separated. They don't want to see that happen. They did come over illegally, but also our process to get into the country takes a while. It's complicated. It's, you know, but you know, you got to file the paperwork. You got to do it the right way. They just want people to have empathy for other people, and like, you know, he already said they can come back. They just got to come in the right way, you know. I see both sides of it, man. I do. I see both sides of it. But hey, y'all tell me what y'all think. Peace.